there, 62. Produced by Still Living in Fascination Design. I know, I'm in a weird resolution and I am in a weird aspect ratio. So yeah, I'm in 4:3, and we don't know why it's fuzzy, but we're kind of going back to our let's experiment with the tech with this show. I wish we had shown you the last 8 minutes and been recording that, because that was pretty cool with Hillary playing with a whole lot of different interesting technology to get us this far. As I was setting up my cocktail for this evening, she came to me. She's like, "Hey, I'm going to make you pip." And I was like, "Great, never heard of that. What's in it?" She's like, "No, picture in picture." It's like, okay, so I'm on my own for making a cocktail. Fine. So I'm going to do a Chauncey, which is a pre-prohibition style cocktail. It is something that Hillary showed me the recipe for recently, and I got pretty fixed on it. I've seen a lot of different variations. I'm going to make one that I hadn't made for myself tonight. This is an equal parts cocktail, so one part, one part, one part, one part. Uh, 4 1 parts. I don't know if I got them all. The first one that I had didn't have the bitters in it, but I found another recipe with the bitters, so I'm going to go with that. But the base formula is going to be equal parts whiskey, preferably bourbon or American rye, gin, preferably Old Tom, brandy or cognac, and sweet vermouth. It doesn't want to be a low-proof cocktail. The first time I made it, it calls for half an ounce of everything, which is a total of 2 ounces. And I drank it, and I was like, that was delicious, but wow, I don't feel like I drank a cocktail. And Hillary pointed out that by the time I got done with it and had a little bit of dilution on it, the thing was down to about like 50 proof.
Yeah.
It's pretty low. So I'm going to make a 3/4 across the board with 2 dashes of bitters for this one. And we are using Long Branch because we had this left over from an event. It was a special request event that we did. Yes, Hillary?
I'm sorry about the resolution. I do know it's fuzzy,
Yeah.
and I don't have my phone on me, so I can't even check and see if anybody's making comments
No
on
idea.
this right now. But basically, I know it's fuzzy. We spent 8 minutes trying to get this picture-in-picture sort of situation going on, and I'm kind of impressed we actually accomplished something, even though you can't read really anything.
It says
I'm
Long
sorry.
Branch. It says Long Branch. Wow, look at that. Ha 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 ha. Okay, anyway, we had Long Branch left over from an event, a special request event that we did, major conference, and it went really well. And I actually like our Long Branch. I don't ever buy it, but I do like it. And when it's on sale for like $29, that's a no-brainer. But it is really low proof, a lower proof than I've been used to drinking at 86, which actually isn't low proof, but whatever. But it worked really well in this cocktail, as you can see, because like we're going through it. So like always, I'm going to start with my smallest and cheapest ingredients. I'm going to do 2 dashes of bitters. Orange was recommended, Regan's orange. I'm a preference for Scrappy's a little bit over Regan's. I just think it has a cleaner flavor profile with a little bit more oomph to it. So then I'm going to do my 3/4 of my sweet vermouth. We've been experimenting some other sweet vermouths. We've shown them on the show, but we drank them all, so that's what I'm going with. But that is great sweet vermouth, so nothing wrong with that. So this is cognac. This is something I bought at an impulse buy at a Kroger, I think, a while ago, and like years and years and years ago, and it's not very good. Which is why it is sitting around. But it works great in this cocktail. And then Heyman's,
So
which
we
is
won't tell you the
no,
brand
just
since
moved
you
on.
can't see it right now.
And Heyman's Old Tom Gin, which is my Old Tom of choice at the moment because it's the one I can get. We still don't have a lot of Old Tom Gin availability, which is kind of a sad thing. Man, the botanicals on that are fantastic. And there's the focus.
Sort of.
Sort of. It focused way better on the.
Yeah, but the resolution is really actually terrible.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm sorry, I don't know. I literally am using some really obscure programs. It's not OBS, FYI, because this is the older machine, and I wanted to see if another piece of software would work well on this for a Zoom event. And I know that Zoom also does compression, so.
So we're just basically doing an episode of Stranger Things. And then Manhattan style. Remember Manhattan style when you're working with sweet vermouth, especially vermouth does not play well with others. You need a nice, long stir. And I got nothing to do with this long stir. Especially when you're working with a multitude of base spirits. You could argue this is a split spirit base because there's 4 equal parts. The longer you stir it, the better. This would make a really, really good cocktail for a mini barrel. We've got a lot of requests in our private events to talk about mini barrels and give recipes and various things for that. That'd be awesome for that. Yes.
Can you tell us what makes Old Tom Gin Old Tom Gin?
I don't remember, honestly.
Sorry. I
It's
thought
one
I
of
would
those
ask
things.
you a question you actually knew.
It's a style, and it's heavier and it's oilier. But I don't know that and I might keep meaning to look this up. I don't know that there's actually a legal requirement. I think it's just a historical kind of inertia and commonality. But it's been on my list to look up all the different styles of gins and actually look at their legal definitions. So that's starting to change. I've got my chill glass. I'm just playing with where the heck the camera is.
We've not done this picture-in-picture kind of process more than a couple of times at this point, so it is something that a presenter actually has to get used to.
It's super
If
weird.
you're doing it live.
Yeah, at least I can see myself. I couldn't imagine trying to do this and not being able to see myself. So if I didn't do the bitters, I probably would have done an orange garnish. But since I got the bitters in there, maybe a cherry, but I didn't think to grab any cherries. But let's see how it tastes. That's freaking amazing. I would have next time I'm going to cut the bitters down to one dash. Orange is the top note and the dominant note, and I'm not getting as much of the other spirits. But once the orange fades off the initial hit, that is just beautifully integrated. It is much lower proof. I can tell that dilution is on there compared to what I'm used to drinking, but that's okay. That is a really, really delicious cocktail. It's a slow sipping cocktail too. That's one to spend an hour on. Yeah.
I had another question. I think you said something earlier before the show started about this being an older recipe related to a hotel.
Yes. So the cursory research that I did, and I want to go back to my actual physical books and not Google for this, is apparently this was really pioneered at or perfected at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, which had one of the best bartending programs leading up to Prohibition. And we know this because the old Waldorf Astoria Hotel Bartender's Guide got published during Prohibition. It was an attempt by a gentleman to capture the knowledge because he saw it was going to be lost. And the bartenders, after however long Prohibition was going to be, they didn't know, it could have been decades, that we'd have a new generation of bartenders who'd never bartended. So he's trying to capture this knowledge. So apparently it stems from that, which is a really a lot of really sophisticated cocktails that are slowly coming back in the modern era were recorded and captured based upon what that hotel is doing. So Waldorf Astoria.
And as always, we will be back again next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is our new time. I think we're going to stick with that for a while.
Yep,
do we know what we're going to do next week? Oh, actually, no, we do, because it was what you were going to do tonight.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to do a more sophisticated cocktail that I was totally unfamiliar with, but timing got away from me. So next week, yeah, look for a very special cocktail with some really unique ingredients that were provided to us by one of our good friends.
Anything else you want to add?
Cheers.
As always, see you next week.